everyone.
Hello. Yes, we see you very well, Mrs. Zakiri. And do we have... Mr. Rahman, are you there?
Mr. Zakari, maybe you can...
No, this is Mr. Zakiri, but I'm looking for Mr. Reze. Ashek, is he there? Ishtiaq?
He's trying to join the meeting. We have some trouble because of we have to use a proxy to join the meeting, and it's a problem to join safely and without any problem to join the meeting. He's trying to join us.
Thank you for that. Sergey, are you there?
I'm sending an email.
Sorry, may I have a question?
So when you're speaking, please remember to turn on your camera so we can see you when you're speaking.
Special envoy, according to the agenda, he goes after me.
Already. So we have to delete this.
As you will hear. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Thanks.
So, Mr. Thompson, yes, I can.
I think it's a good
He's
one.
not ready. 2 minutes. Yes.
Thank you. Sorry.
Do you want to use this? He's not ready.
I didn't bring, but no, not now. But
If you need it.
thank you.
Olga, Jean-Claude has asked for 2 minutes. So
Yes.
I'm fine with everything. You are moderator now. I know.
Okay. So for the audience, what are they seeing now?
Okay. So what are
We can mute now. We can go back and mute. Good afternoon, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the virtual high-level side event at the second Global Sustainable Transport Conference. With me today is Ms. Olga Algoyorova, the United Nations Under-Secretary General and Executive Secretary of the United Nations Economic Commission for Europe, as well as Mr. Jean Todt, the UN Secretary General Special Envoy for Road Safety, who will open the event. I will introduce our panelists shortly after. Ms. Algoyorova, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really pleased to be here with you today at the UN Road Safety Fund high-level side event at the second UN Global Transport Conference. As you will hear from the Special Envoy on Road Safety, my dear colleague and friend Jean Todt, safe mobility is one of our biggest global challenges. And it is the world's poorest people that pay the biggest price, with 93% of road crash fatalities occurring in low and middle-income countries. These numbers are definitely not just statistics. These are tragedies on a catastrophic scale. The second decade of action for road safety and its global plan is an opportunity again to put road safety at the heart of the SDGs agenda. The clock to 2030 is ticking and we cannot afford to delay. So let me also jump straight to solutions. In my years of overseeing road safety work across the world, I have come to the conclusion that a crucial missing piece remains catalytic investment. This is why the UN Road Safety Fund was launched 3 years ago with the objective of leveraging funds at the global, national and individual levels, encouraging partnerships and implementing road safety projects in low and middle income countries. Through its projects, the UN Road Safety Fund works with a wide range of stakeholders. It taps and builds on their expertise and resources to co-create initiatives which pilot, scale or leapfrog game-changing approaches. These projects are already showing results. The fund has provided hundreds of kilometers of safe walking and cycling lanes, supported safer access to school for children in multiple countries, and is incrementally working towards providing 300 million people with safer and cleaner vehicles. Most importantly, these are proofs of concepts of how road safety financing can save lives and reduce injuries. For example, in Brazil, through UN Road Safety Fund financing, the road traffic rule enforcement system has been strengthened, resulting in a decrease in the rate of traffic deaths per 100,000 inhabitants from 17.03 in 2019 to only 15.64 in 2020. Today's event will launch 10 new high-impact UN Road Safety Fund funded projects which will further scale up these approaches in 15 countries. 11 of these are new countries for the fund, and in 4 others, the fund will continue existing engagement. For example, data management and analysis capacities will be strengthened in the Arab region, giving decision makers the information needed to design impactful policies. A scalable, community-based urban intervention will be designed in Colombia to citizens, a voice to decide which road safety intervention can be the most effective. The post-crash response of the healthcare system will be strengthened in Bangladesh, saving precious lives on the roads. An exciting project to make streets safer for pedestrians and cyclists in Africa will protect some of the world's most vulnerable users. These are only some of the examples of the important and life-saving UN Road Safety Fund projects that are implemented by the UN organizations, national institutions and civil society, including youth. However, much more needs to be done. The UN Road Safety Fund must scale its operations to respond to the demands from the countries and communities. Ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you to support the UN Road Safety Fund in its projects, partnerships, and advocacy work. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for that intervention, Ms. Aguirre. And before giving the floor to Mr. Todd, I would just like to highlight that indeed today's event is really about announcing the 10 new high-impact projects that the United Nations Road Safety Fund is launching this fall. That will lead us to an additional a total of 25 projects that we have launched at the fund since the start of our projects in 2019. These projects will be implemented in 14 countries over the next 2 to 3 years. The countries include Afghanistan, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Colombia, Ethiopia, Kenya, Rwanda, Mozambique, Guinea, Iran, Paraguay, Philippines, Rwanda, Tunisia, and Lebanon. And so with these countries, we're very pleased to see the reach of United Nations Road Safety Fund projects extending now to 30 countries. Is Mr. Todd now with us?
Still no.
Okay, so perhaps I will go ahead now just to introduce our panelists. With me today is Ms. Mercedes Barrio Canal from Paraguay. Ms. Barrio Canal is a Paraguayan journalist and a UNICEF ambassador. Ms. Barrio Canal, if you're with us, can you just say hello?
Hello, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Welcome, thank you. And now I will now introduce our second panelist, Mr. Sergei Garamanyan, who's an Armenian activist and founder of Driver's Friend. Sergei, if you're with us, please say hello.
Hi all. Thank you.
Welcome. Welcome. We also have with us Mr. Raman Rezai, who's a former Iranian national football player. Raman, if you're with us, please say hello. Okay. Raman, are you with us? Ooh, the connection seems to be quite poor, but let me move to Mr. Hormaz Zakiri, who's also from Iran, from the Ministry of Road and Urban Development. Mr. Zakiri, are you with us? Please say hello.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, fantastic. So I think we are all here together. Perhaps we will move into the panel discussion while we wait for Mr. Jean Todt to join us. So maybe I'll start with my first question, and I'll direct that to you, Mercedes. Each of you in your own right are influencers and very popular persons in your own home countries. I wanted to ask you, really, what do you think can be done to raise the profile of the road safety challenge? At the moment, there is a global road safety crisis, but not too many people seem to realize this. Road traffic deaths are causing the deaths of 1.3 million people each year, and up to 50 million injuries across the world every single year. It's also the leading killer for children between 5 to 29 years old. But I don't think too many people have this issue on their radar. Why do you think this is, Mercedes, and what do you think you could do to raise visibility on this issue?
First, I want to apologize because I'm going to speak in Spanish. That's my mother language, and I feel more comfortable speaking in Spanish. And Mati is beside me. She's going to translate for you, okay?
Fantastic, thank you.
Los siniestros viales en Paraguay de alguna manera originan, además del sufrimiento enorme para las víctimas y para sus familiares, una importante demanda en los servicios prehospitalarios, hospitalarios y posthospitalarios, generando enormes costos para las familias, para la sociedad y también para el Estado.
So, road traffic crashes in Paraguay, besides the suffering for victims they generate, they also create an important demand on pre-hospital care, hospital care, and post-hospital care, occasioning high costs for families, society, and the government.
Y esto afecta fundamentalmente también al desarrollo socioeconómico de nuestro país porque se estima que el coste de los siniestros viales oscila entre un 2 y un 4% del Producto Interno Bruto del Paraguay. Imagínense lo que sería este presupuesto, este dinero importante direccionado hacia fomentar las capacidades, por ejemplo, de educación y también a mejorar sustancialmente el transporte público en Paraguay.
So this affects finally the socio-economical development of the country, considering that the economic costs of road traffic injuries or road traffic crashes oscillate amongst a 2 and a 4% of the IBP of Paraguay, a budget that could destinate to improve or to strengthen capacities in education or transportation areas.
Entre las muertes violentas, y les pido que presten especial atención a esto, los siniestros viales ocupan la primera causa de muerte en Paraguay, seguido de los homicidios dolosos y también los suicidios. Hay que decir que estamos en Asunción, que es la capital del Paraguay. Entre Asunción y las ciudades del área metropolitana, donde se concentra la mayor parte de la población, se registran estos siniestros viales. Y un tema, son la primera causa de muerte en adolescentes y jóvenes entre 15 y 29 años, siendo el 32% de la población económicamente activa.
Amongst violent deaths and road traffic injuries are identified as the first cause of death amongst young people between 15 and 29 years old. And this is followed by homicides and suicides. They are registered, these road traffic injuries are registered mainly on urban centers or the metropolitan area. So they are the first cause of deaths between adolescents and young people, being this part of the population, the 32% of the economically active population.
Este grupo etario representa el 41% de fallecidos por siniestros viales, esto según datos del año 2019, y además, entre el grupo de jóvenes de 15 a 24 años, ellos representan el 33% de los lesionados. Según también estadísticas del año 2019, estos datos fueron extraídos del informe estadístico anual 2020 del Observatorio Vial.
According to 2019 statistics, 31% of the
We've lost the connection for a moment. We will try to get this back. I don't know if you can hear us, but we'll try to get the connection back in a moment. But in the meantime, perhaps I will give the floor to Mr. Todd, Secretary General Special Envoy for Road Safety. Please, the floor is yours.
You need to unmute, Jean.
Mr. Todd, the floor is yours. We seem to be having a little bit of technical difficulties, but please go ahead.
Do you hear me? Do you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Good.
Yes, I hear.
Good. Thank you. Sorry for that. Thank you, Anika, and very happy to be with all of you, my dear Olga Gayerova, colleagues and friends. It is my real pleasure to join you today at the high-level side event, Safe and Sustainable Mobility in Developing Countries, taking place in the margin of the second UN Global Sustainable Transport Conference. One of the biggest development challenges we are facing is managing the mobility of people and goods in fast-growing cities in Latin America, Africa, and Southeast Asia. Billions of people will have new mobility aspirations. The steady rise in urban population growth over the last 30 years, coupled with an increase in cars, buses, trucks, motorcycles, and transport-related emissions has contributed to climate change. Globally, the number of vehicles on the road is expected to double by 2050, and already the transport sector accounts for almost 25% of global CO2 emissions. Therefore, having a long-term perspective which focuses on safety and sustainability will be the defining factor for the future of mobility. Developing countries have a lot to gain from sustainable mobility. Better connected transport systems provide for healthier people, improved air quality and less traffic congestions, fewer road crashes, less carbon emissions. Furthermore, they provide more opportunities to access jobs and education, inspiring more innovation and inclusion. To steer countries towards sustainable mobility and a better quality of life, investments and financing for road safety improvement are key in this transformation. Road safety investments can ensure that negative impact from increased mobility are reduced. We need this at the national, regional, and international levels. UN Road Safety Fund is a unique instrument to drive investments towards achieving the road safety-related SDG targets, reducing road deaths by half, and access to safe, affordable, accessible, and sustainable transport for all by 2030. I'd like to congratulate the fund for already channeling funding to the communities that need it most. A large portfolio of 25 high-impact projects in 28 developing countries across Africa, Asia, Pacific, Europe, Latin America, and the Caribbean, and Middle East. I encourage everyone to contribute to the fund and to engage in the upcoming milestones in the global road safety agenda. On October 28, we will launch the global plan for the second decade, which should guide both national road safety action plans and financing for road safety. In July 22, we will host the UN high-level meeting on road safety, which aims to address mechanisms to reach the road safety-related SDG by 2030. We expect the highest level of participation from all sectors. In December 2021, we will have a preparatory meeting that will focus on multi-stakeholder collaboration and financing for road safety, in which I encourage a diverse range of contributions. I look forward to collaborating to achieving safe and sustainable mobility, especially in the countries that need it the most. And I thank you again for all your endeavor in this important topic.
Very much, Mr. Todd. Thank you very much for your remarks and for your support. We appreciate it. We give the floor back to Mercedes. Mercedes, can you please try to resume your comments? No.
I will do it.
Okay, I think we can hear you.
Okay.
So Mercedes, we were asking you about the lack of awareness in Paraguay and in the world. We wanted to know from you, what role do you think influencers such as yourself can play to raise awareness?
Bueno, creo que los influencers y las personas que somos formadores de opinión y los periodistas podemos tener obviamente una sensible influencia en cambiar estas prácticas inseguras en el tránsito. Tenemos que conocer profundamente, por supuesto, las normativas y lo que tiene que ver con prácticas responsables de seguridad vial, utilizando absolutamente todas nuestras plataformas, poniendo a disposición todas nuestras plataformas, ya sea en la radio, en la televisión, artículos impresos, digitales, redes sociales. Tenemos la obligación de instalar este tema, esta conversación como algo fundamental. Lo que tiene que ver con la seguridad vial y una movilidad sostenible que lamentablemente en Paraguay está centrada hoy por hoy en la circulación de vehículos particulares y motorizados. Acá hay una realidad, no hay una infraestructura que contemple las necesidades de los peatones, ni siquiera se piensa en la bicicleta como un medio de transporte y tenemos nosotros como ordenadores de opinión, de alguna manera, de influir necesariamente en estos nuevos modos de transporte mucho más seguros, más inclusivos. Aquí tenemos una deuda muy grande todavía con las personas con discapacidad que no pueden tener una movilidad independiente, autónoma. No les garantizamos esto a los niños y adolescentes, tampoco les damos en Paraguay la posibilidad de transitar seguros por las calles. Hay mucho que hacer. Voy a pedirle a Mati que haga la traducción y si queda algún tiempito, agrego algo más.
So we as a journalists and influencers, we really need to use all the tools. We have to establish this topic as a conversation amongst all the country, because we as a country have a debt with children and adolescents regarding safety, road safety. So we really need to establish this, and we have to start focusing on pedestrians, on cyclists, and here we are focused on vehicles. So we have to change that approach, and we have to use all the tools, social media, articles, newspapers, radio channels, to establish that and to create a new a new conscience about it.
Two more things. Una cuestión que tiene que ver con que nosotros tenemos que visibilizar que las personas de escasos recursos son lamentablemente las víctimas de esa violencia vial. Esto es así porque ante un servicio de transporte público que prácticamente no existe o es muy mediocre, se ven en la obligación de recurrir a las motocicletas como medio de transporte para llegar a los distintos lugares, a sus trabajos, escuelas, etcétera, y esto obviamente genera estas cifras tan trágicas en nuestro país. Y lo otro es que cuando hacemos un reportaje sobre un siniestro vial, más allá de contar lo que todos estamos observando, que tiene que ver con los protagonistas, las causas, las consecuencias, también tenemos la obligación de recordar la normativa que se incumplió y también difundir la práctica que hubiera podido evitar ese siniestro vial.
So we have to take into account that here in Paraguay, the victims of these road traffic crashes are people that live in poverty or extreme poverty, or people with disabilities. And we have to show this. We have to
To talk about this.
Yes, to talk about it, and to let people know, and to reinforce the laws that are not being accomplished when these road traffic crashes occur.
Thank you. Wow, that's a comprehensive response, and actually a lot of what you're saying is resonating for the other regions. In fact, let me bring in Sergey from Armenia. Sergey, it's 18.3 deaths per 100,000 for the population in Armenia that's dying from road traffic deaths and injuries. Let me go straight to the question. With your influence, with your networks, what kind of a role do you think people in your position with influence and networks such as yourself can play to raise visibility on this issue and to do something about it?
First of all, I want to say that thank you very much for this, for inviting to participate in this great event. It's great honor to me to be here and to represent Armenia here. Also, I want to ask, I couldn't have never imagined that I would take part in the same event as Mr. John Dodd, who left a big mark in Formula One. I want to congratulate him and the victories of Ferrari team under his leadership. I'm excited to be part of this event. Thank you. Also, I want to about questions. Really famous people could begin to include, if not open the hidden messages on their websites, social pages, even the film industry, TV, to promote their culture to be of safer road traffic, for example, by using seat belts in soap operas that are watched by many. This way is if society becomes more demanding of safer road traffic changes will begin to take place. More investments, more projects will be implemented to support safer mobility. Really, I always want to encourage by my own example to of being a disciplined citizen. I don't welcome offense. I haven't any fines in a road traffic for the last 5 years. My wife is also a good driver who has not been fined for more 6 years in a traffic. I always encourage my friends to be more disciplined. Law-abiding can drive a car, go to work without any violations, but the society has accepted not breaking rules as an exceptional heroism, and inaccessibly relative of them. And I hope the society begins to appreciate the rule of law.
Thank you very much, Sergey. Thank you for that intervention. I want to call on our colleagues from Iran. Iran is seeing 20.5 deaths per 100,000, so that's quite high by any standards. So there's a lot of work we need to do there, and that's why we're happy to be entering into Iran with our new project to provide support to the government. Rahman, if you're with us, I'd like to know from you, as a former Iranian national football player, what kind of a role and influence do you think that you could have on this agenda of raising awareness for the need for financing road safety?
I'm Hormuz Zakiri. I haven't apologized in behalf of Mr. Rezai because he couldn't connect to the event. I have a short comments, and I will send you a message from Rahman Rezai because he could not connect as advocacy for road safety in Iran. I haven't apologized, and I will send a message from Rahman. Yes, you are right. Road safety in Iran is not is in a bad situation. We have more than 17,000 people that annually were killed in the accident, and I'm so happy to join this event. I hear from you, and I will send you a message from Rahman Rezai to UN Road Safety Fund. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mrs. Zakiri. Thank you very much. I'm going to go back to you, Mercedes. With the time that we have left, I would really like to hear from you, from all of you actually. You know, if there is a decision maker listening to you now, someone who has influence over setting priorities for the country and deciding how to spend financing for the country, what kind of message would you give to this decision maker, this policy maker, about prioritizing road safety?
Bueno, sueño con caminos seguros y agradables donde los niños y las niñas y los adolescentes puedan ir caminando a la plaza, al parque o en bicicleta a la escuela sin temor a perder su vida. Sueño con un país que tenga una movilidad inclusiva y sustentable sin hechos que lamentar. Reitero que los niños, niñas y adolescentes puedan transitar con seguridad de sus hogares a sus escuelas y viceversa. Que las personas con discapacidad puedan tener una verdadera movilidad independiente, autónoma. Y también creo que ojalá podamos tener un país con familias sin secuelas psicológicas, físicas, económicas, por culpa de estos siniestros viales que en todos los casos pudieron haber sido prevenidos. Yo creo que como sociedad podemos cambiar las cosas, podemos ejercer una presión social fuerte y hacer que finalmente exigir que el presupuesto general de gastos de la nación sea utilizado responsable y correctamente y sobre todo volcado a los sectores más necesitados.
I dream with safe roads, safe and nice roads where children and adolescents can go to the park walking or by bikes to school or to parks without suffering to lose or without fear to lose their lives. I dream with a country with an inclusive and sustainable mobility without the facts to regret. That children and adolescents can move safely from their homes to their school and back. An inclusive Paraguay where people with disability can move autonomically. Families I dream that families don't need to have psychological, physical, or economical sequels for road safety incidents, facts that are totally preventable. Building a safer and inclusive country for road traffic users is is responsibility of all Paraguayans. And as citizens, we have the power to revert this situation through enforcing, through social pressure and enforcing that the government's general budget be handled responsibly and oriented to most vulnerable sectors, including road safety and transportation. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mercedes. I'll ask you one more question, because as a journalist,
Yes.
How do you think? What kind of support would journalists you think need, particularly in developing countries, to really write more about this issue, to really help us to raise awareness? Is there some technical support, or what can we provide to journalists to get them talking about this some more?
Sí, creo que necesitamos ese soporte técnico y que puedan entender tanto los dueños de los medios de comunicación donde trabajamos que este es un tema central, como decía anteriormente, que esta conversación debe instalarse y que los gobiernos entiendan que estamos despilfarrando vidas y recursos económicos que son muy importantes, como también mencionaba, para ser, por supuesto, destinados a todo lo que tiene que ver con la educación y el transporte. En Paraguay necesitamos un transporte público de calidad para todos y todas. Aquí se prioriza el transporte unitario, personalizado, motorizado y no el transporte que pueda permitirnos calidad de vida, porque aquí estamos hablando además del cambio climático y de lo negativo que es abusar de este sistema de transporte personalizado. Necesitamos ir a otro sistema de transporte público y vamos a evitar muertes de ciudadanos que hoy lamentablemente fallecen frente a nuestros ojos y nos limitamos a simplemente contar los hechos, narrar los hechos y no estamos haciendo mucho por evitar que esto suceda, ¿no?
So we really need technical support, and we need for the owners of the social media in which we work to understand that this is an important issue we should talk about, we should be civilized. And we also need quality public transport. We can keep risking lives with the transport we have because it is not safe. And speaking about climate change, we also need to change into a more sustainable public transport. Yes, sustainable mobility, so that we can prevent these deaths, and we can.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah. I did it well, Matthew.
Thank you very much. I'll actually give the floor to Ms. Alga Yorova, who has some questions and some views to share as well.
It's very interesting to see you, Mercedes and Sergey. And I just want to use this excellent opportunity from different parts of the world. Because you speak about the people who abuse the regulations and you would like to raise it up as journalists, and you speak about sustainable mobility. But my question, I have maybe two questions I would like to hear from you. Okay, in your personal opinion, because the fault can be on the side of the driver, maybe the quality of the cars, quality of the roads, maybe it is legislation. Maybe we should push on governments to adopt another legislation. And then what is it with the medical care after the crash, post-crash medical care? You know, is the aid coming soon enough or not? And my second question would go, if you can, as a journalist or Sergey as an activist, raise up the question of economic cost for the country, because it's not about the, unfortunately, died people on the roads, but we have 10 times more injured people. You know, if people stay injured, then the healthcare system needs to take care about them, and it is an economic cost in some countries achieving 5 to 6% of GDP. So I would like, you as journalists, you are simply highlighting those facts, but I would like to hear from you. Thank you, Mercedes and Sergey.
Bueno, en Paraguay, lamentablemente, las políticas públicas no están diseñadas para pensar en ciudades más seguras y menos hostiles. Entonces, lamentablemente, yo he tenido como journalist, he tenido problemas muchas veces cuando se plantea la infraestructura vial en Paraguay, se plantea solamente pensando en la movilidad de los autos particulares motorizados. Entonces, se están construyendo, ¿cómo se llama esto? Viaductos por todos lados, porque lo que quieren generar es el tránsito rápido de los vehículos y nunca piensan en lo que esto significa para la seguridad del peatón, del ciclista. Nosotros no tenemos prácticamente ciclistas en las calles porque corren un riesgo enorme. Entonces, cuando nosotros hacemos este planteamiento y decimos, señores, así no vamos a ir hacia una ciudad más agradable, más segura, automáticamente el ataque es personal hacia nosotros, porque obviamente estamos tocando también intereses económicos muy importantes. Pero sabemos, somos conscientes que el mundo va inexorablemente a esa movilidad más sostenible. Necesariamente el Paraguay tendrá que adaptarse también. Pero estamos en un momento, acabamos de tener elecciones municipales y lamentablemente hay pocas ideas respecto a generar ciudades más seguras para los peatones, ciudades más seguras para la gente. Los costos económicos de los accidentes de tránsito son multimillonarios. Estamos hablando del 2 al 4% del Producto Interno Bruto paraguayo. Entonces, ahí ese sería el elemento más fuerte, la herramienta más contundente para hacerle entender a las autoridades, tanto del gobierno central como de los municipios, que tenemos que revertir la cosa, que tenemos que cambiar esto, porque está muriendo nuestra gente en las calles, la gente de escasos recursos, que es la más vulnerable de toda esta situación, y por otro lado, gastando un dinero que podría estar muy bien utilizado en otras áreas que son muy urgentes en Paraguay.
So our country has poor public policies that are regarding planned cities with transportation, with safe transportation. So when we as journalists visualize this, we get personal attacks because there are way more other interest for this. There are more other political interests, and what we have to focus on is to let them know that that 2 to 4% of the Paraguayan IDP is what we expend on care after these crashes, these injuries, and we really have to show them and to make more pressure to build these public policies that are directed to plan a safer country, a safer city, and focused on cyclists and pedestrians. We are fully focused on personal vehicles, and our public transport is unsafe, and it is on really bad shape, in a really bad state also. So we really need to invest more. We could use this IDP to invest on other things if we have this plan for a safer and a sustainable city.
Thank you very much, Mercedes. And Sergey, from your point of view, this issue of economic cost, particularly as it concerns healthcare and medical care, what are your views on this?
It's a good question. Thank you for question. And also, I would like to connect first and second question together and answer about situation in Armenia. About the question, let me first just a little bit introduce the situation in Armenia, which we have in last 5 years. In Armenia, it is for now very difficult situation. We went through a revolution, then coronavirus pandemic, just now it's ongoing, and last year war and political instability. And as a result of war, there is about more than 3,000 casualties. Also, in the city, the socio-economic unstable situation and the limited capacities of authorities who are responsible in the sphere have overshadowed road safety as priority issue. And however, in the last year, the number of victims and injured on the road has increased by 30% and still continue increase. All this has two reasons: lack of proper attention to increase road safety for years, a change in behavior by citizens, which has decreased by year and year. There are the various ongoing reforms, but there is need to be fundamental actions that will change the behavior of our citizens. This is why I am very excited about the projects Reframing Road Safety in Armenia project that aims to connect data, people, and policies on the road of Armenia. Through the application of data analytics and importantly behavior science. And regarding for the victims, as for and to about economics, as I have already mentioned, that as a result of annual road accidents, road traffic crashes, we have more than 300 victims, and it is growing by year by year. On average, one person dies every day in Armenia, and one life story ends. Yes, maybe the fight against COVID-19 is more relevant today, but ignoring the road safety, we sink deeper into the swamp and not observance of road system norms. Therefore, in order to overcome these problems, to find the right solutions, it is possible for everyone to do their best to pursue it, compel the society to take care of their own security, the rights of others as well, to demand that state bodies fulfill in their responsibility as it should be. And the most important thing is not to waste time, also not to waste money, because there will be no more convenient moment than right now. At the same time, there is no need to invent a new bicycle, as modern road safety norms and standards, strategies, approach, and solutions are already contained in the Vision Zero strategy concept note, which has grown showed in Sweden. These principles are spread in many other developed countries in a whole of responsibility managers. This is very the main thing, that there will be responsibility managers. It is very important for our country to set new quality standards, because the quality requirements have not changed in the last 30 years. And yes, government has own part to which is not taking long time, do not updating standards and requirement, while the world has changed and reality has changed. As a result of all that, I want to quite small episode. When my compatriot will visit a developed country like in Europe or like your country, immediately they become law-abiding, disciplined, observe and all the rules of both traffic and coexistence, because of conditions are created for the people by government, by responsibility persons who abide law in case to make minor human mistakes, which are inevitability. The smartly designed system minimizes the impact of these mistakes. Yes, human can make mistakes, and every human makes mistakes, but the government responsible for designing safe road systems to impact the results of these mistakes. And in our country, yes, more than 5-6% of GDP is going off
is being lost.
Recover. Yes.
Sorry, I'm going to stop you there because we need to wrap up. But thank you very much. It's very clear that the economic cost is quite high, including in Armenia, but it's not special to Armenia. As you said, it's no more convenient moment than right now to get going on this agenda. What I've heard from my friends from Iran, from Paraguay, from France, from Slovenia, and from Armenia is that really we need to get the government accountability and leadership. We need to get the data right. We need to look at financing, but also advocacy. It's a shared responsibility, this road safety agenda. And I thank you very much for helping to highlight this in today's session, and wishing you a good rest of the day. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.